Welcome, welcome everyone. Sorry about the delay. I just couldn't stream to Twitter, I guess. Okay, thank you for being on. This is an interesting subject. The Mandela effect. Is it true? Well, just off the bat here, we're working from the sea can still. As you can see outside, the crops are all blooming up here in Alberta. The prairies, it's all wheat and barley and all the stuff we get in the bread bin. So that's all going for the farmers good this year because of all the sunshine, and we rained all night. So this is a farmer's dream. We have some people on with us we should say hi to. We have my good wife who makes this all happen. We want to say thank you to her. Cisco Kid, Noah's Cart witnessing. Yes. Too funny, isn't it, Jane? And Jay, thanks for being with us, Jay. You're a great support to the community. We love you, man. Keep up the good work. And we have David. Well, hello, David. He's the guy that he'll beat your butt in poker if you come on Discord. Thanks for being with us, David. And we have who else? Ricky Bobby. Ricky Bobby. Hi, guys. Hi, gals. Hi, Ricky. Eric. And Keith Silver. How are you doing? We're doing good up here. And we have Culty Talk. Hello, Culty Talk. Thanks for being with us again. A great contributor to the community. Thanks for all your hard work. We really appreciate it. Lisa from New Zealand. Hello, Lisa. Thanks for being with us. Jay and Jane. Okay, we got through all the comments. This is an interesting subject. Noah and the ark. Was he really a preacher? Well, he was. It says in Second Peter he was a herald of righteousness. We're going to look at some of the scriptures, but I wanted to know: is Noah's ark a big money maker for religion? That's what I'm always curious about. So I was doing some research on this, and it's a big money maker. A lot of religions push the Noah's Ark thing. You're going to be surprised at some of the information that comes out. How does Noah's Ark represent the church? Now, this is a common JW thing. We kind of were taught this as a JW. We're going to look at a little bit of JW Oregon. We're going to look at their insight book, see what it says. But in the end, after all complications and obfuscations, 1 Peter 3 makes a simple but profound point when it compares church baptism to Noah's Ark. The church should be a place of refuge, safety, and salvation. It is a lifeboat. It is a shelter from the storm, like the seminary campus in Bangui. Ooh. Not from JW.org, but they believe the same thing. You see, all the churches, or a lot of the churches, believe that their church is like Noah's Ark. And you see, the Watchtower believes that. They believe that they're the Noah's Ark. They're the boat for salvation for the whole wide world, along with Islam. And we're going to go through it. They all believe it. The church is Noah's Ark. So the story of Noah, the ark, the flood speaks of inspiring and powerful message about judgment and grace that instructed God's people throughout the ages, about God's hatred of sin and his love for his creation. So that's what one church puts it that way. Why was so important? Well, their rescue and the flood itself shows us that the Lord's justice, power, patience, kindness, and faithfulness. You might believe in a lot of this. I do. I believe a lot of this that I'm reading. It's nothing new to me. It's not new to a Jehovah's Witness or an ex-Jehovah's Witness. What is the deeper meaning of Noah's Ark? Well, there might be some deeper stuff that we don't know about. JW.org may not have taught us. Noah was told by God to come into the ark, meaning God's presence was in the ark with him. So that's interesting. Noah's 500 years old. Boy, my back screen's getting dark. Here, I'll do this. I got some more lights here. I think I can make this work. We got the technology, if it'll plug in. There. Wow, that made a big difference. I put the overhead lights on. Okay, let's carry on. What is the moral lesson of Noah's Ark? Well, who wants to come on and tell me what the moral lesson of Noah's Ark is? Here it is. The moral is twofold. If you disobey God, he might just decide to kill you and your family, your pets, just for good measure. So it's best to do what he says. If you obey God, he can miraculously save you while letting everybody and everything else on earth perish in agony. That's lesson number one. So that's right off the internet. This is what the moral lesson of Noah's Ark, the blunt part of it is, really. If you don't obey Yahweh, you're going to die. What animal did God not let into the ark? Well, it says the Bible does not suggest any animals missed the ark. So Noah was given direct order by God to take every beast, fowl, any other living thing that creepeth upon the earth, like spiders, ants. Like there's a lot of insects. Not sure how he did all that. But I guess if God was in the ark with Noah, anything's possible. DNA. You see, this is what Christians say. Skeptics say elsewise, but Christians or people that believe in Noah's Ark will say, well, if God was there, anything's possible, right? We weren't there, so we don't know. At the end of the story, Noah's family made it to safety. God made a covenant promise between him, Noah and his creation, and symbolized by a rainbow. And we need to choose to remain faithful to God instead of worrying about what other people think. Is Noah's Ark scientifically possible? Good question. Well, believers in the Ark continue to search for it in modern times, but no scientific evidence that the Ark existed has ever been found. Nor is there any scientific evidence for a global flood. Global flood. You see, there's scientific evidence on a flood, like a big flood down in the Bible lands. And then years later, there's a flood over here. And then years later, there's a flood over here. So there were floods all over the earth, but there's no evidence of one big global flood. At least that's what it says here. So if you have some other information on that, I think I watched a bit of Joe and Fran, if they're on, they watch Archaea. I forget the guy's name, Jason. And I think he figures that there was a global flood. He kind of believes in some of the JW stuff when it comes to the the canopy of water above the earth, and then all this water came down. Like he believes that, and he has some good. So there's different lines of thought on this very subject. Okay, so what do we have? What else do we have here? Nothing on this one. So does Noah's Ark make money? Well, I'm going to show you a little video about the big money that Noah's Ark makes. We're going to put this on the screen. And here it is. Let me know if the volume's good here. Oh yeah, Culty Talk said it's archaics. Did you hear that, Culty Talk? That he kind of believes in some of the same things that JWs would have believed in? I think I watched a little bit of it, but he gave some reasons. He seems like a really smart guy, but what do I know? I don't know anything. Okay, let's look at how big a business this Noah's Ark thing is. Here it is.
Have you ever wondered if Noah's Ark was real? And if it was, how big was it and what did it look like? Well, you can stop your wondering, as here it is. Well, sort of. This is the Ark Encounter, which is a theme park replica of the Noah's Ark from the Bible, which is an all-wood, life-size Noah's Ark, built to the dimensions specified in the book of Genesis. The final dimensions of the replica Ark are 510 feet long, 85 feet wide, and 51 feet high, which makes it the largest timber structure in the United States and the largest timber frame building in the world. Visitors are able to explore the 3 decks of the Ark, where you'll see a variety of exhibits that will show guests what life might have been like for Noah and his family on the Ark, including the living quarters and Noah's study. Also, there are wooden cages throughout the ship with replicas of animals in them, giving you a sense of what it would have been like. Other exhibits on the Ark include animatronics of Noah and his family, their private quarters, common living room, kitchen, and food storage areas. All of the animal sculptures, furniture, and props have been designed following extensive research to give you a sense of what the Ark might have truly been like. Outside of the Ark, the park also offers zipline rides, a cafe, restaurant, walking paths and garden, and a huge auditorium. Not to mention the petting zoo, with such animals as Tibetan yaks, zebras, alpacas, kangaroos, and many others. The Ark Encounter opened in 2016 and is located on an 800-acre site in Grant County, Kentucky in the United States. Construction started on the theme park in 2014 and was finished in 2016 at a cost of $100 million. Although they have been adding new buildings and attractions to the park since then. The entire ship is made of wood, including structural supports and beams, but joined together using metal plates and bolts and is clad together in timber boards, which if you laid those boards end to end, there is enough timber in the Ark construction to go from Williamstown, Kentucky to Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, which is about 611 miles. And its roof is so long, NASA could park 3 space shuttles nose to tail on it. Someone asked the question on TripAdvisor.com, how long does it take to do a tour of the Ark? Someone replied it took them 4.5 hours, but you should expect at least 3 hours. But you can walk through the whole Ark in about 1 hour. The extra time is needed if you read the plaques and watch the video displays. Now I know it's not easy to talk about the iconic Noah's Ark without relating it to religion, but in this story I'm going to try. Because whether you are into religion or not, whether you believe in Noah's Ark or not, does not change the fact that this is one impressive wooden structure and unique theme park, based around a topic that almost everyone on the planet has heard of. After seeing how big and how many people and machines it took to make the Ark in modern times, makes you wonder how Noah ever did it. But then again, they built the pyramids without modern machines. I guess if you have enough people, anything is possible. Anyway, that's the end of this video. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye bye.
Oh.
There you go.
Did it just get hit?
Yeah.
I hit it?
Yeah, there you
Sorry about that. I moving my mouse around, I guess, and hitting sound. So how far back do I go?
go. Just pick a place.
Okay, number 2. So the Bible says nothing about warning anybody about the flood. Not in Genesis. There was no instructions to God. God said, I'm only going to save you, 8 people. The whole world's wicked. So in 2 Peter 2 and 5, the Bible calls Noah a herald of righteousness. Now in JW Bible, they call it a preacher of righteousness. Now a herald of righteousness, preacher of righteousness. We're going to look at, we're going to invite David on later, and we're going to take a look at some scriptures here. The Lexicon Bible, one of the most accurate Bibles. So number 3, so 2 Peter 2 and 5, where the Bible calls Noah a preacher of righteousness. Well, Noah was 500 years old before God said anything to him about a flood. So this isn't proof that he warned anybody about the flood. He was just a herald of righteousness. I hope we are. I hope you are a herald of righteousness. You know, do we do things right? Do we try to do things right? Do we try to love our neighbors? Do we try to... Yeah, that's a herald of righteousness. I don't go out and preach. Now, number 3, Matthew 24 talks about this in verse 37 to 39, and the parallel passages in Luke 17:27. And it states that people living on earth at the time of the flood, they did not understand until the flood came. This is in quotes. We'll look at this from the Bible in a little bit here. But in quotes, it says, they did not understand until the flood came and took them away. So it seems unlikely that they would not understand that God wanted to destroy them if Noah had been warning them the entire time that he was building the ark. And there's another thing. How long did it take to build the ark? Well, the lesson here is that it took 120 years. Genesis 5 and 32 says Noah was 500 years old when his kids were born. And Genesis 7 and 6 says that Noah was 600 years old when the flood happened. So it seemed that 100 years would be the maximum amount of time. So why did I say 120? Well, 100 years, it seems like. So number 4, some would argue that God always allows for people to be saved from judgment. The David Splain in the 2023 annual meeting, they came on and said that we may have had a wrong idea about Sodom and Gomorrah. He says maybe there were some righteous people in there. Lot didn't go out and do any preaching. And Jesus made reference that it would be better for the people from Sodom than it would be for the Pharisees. So it would sound like maybe there's a resurrection, right? That's what David Splain was leading us to believe. Now, let's read this. Some would argue that God always allowed for people to be saved from judgment. Now, the biblical teaching on hell, and a lot of religions believe in hell, right? Or Armageddon, if you're JW. The biblical teaching on hell would indicate other words, that God always allows people to be saved, right? The biblical teaching on Armageddon. Is God going to save them all? A concrete biblical example would be the cities of Sodom and Gomorrah. The angels came to Lot out of Sodom. Genesis 19 and 12 says that the invitation was for Lot and his family only. That's what it says. The people in these cities were never warned. In the same way, it is possible that the people in Noah's day were not warned of the judgment to come. In fact, I think we're going to look at the scriptures that compares the days of Noah to the days of Sodom. We're going to look at that in a bit. When God wants people to be warned about a judgment, what does he do? Well, he usually says so. I'll give you an example. Jonah. Jonah was sent to warn the people of Nineveh. Remember that? There was an impending judgment. Well, his message is found in Jonah 3 and 4, and the people repented, and God stayed his judgment. So it is possible that if enough people in Noah's time had repented, God would not have sent the flood. It is possible. But that's not what happened. So were the people warned about the flood? Well, they were probably warned that something was up, given the fact that Noah was building this huge boat. Did Noah tell them about the flood? Well, it's possible, but the Bible doesn't say. It doesn't say anywhere. Was it God's plan for more than 8 people to be saved from the flood? Well, according to the Bible, no. So why would he go out preaching? Why would he even spend time? God told him they're all going to be destroyed. Build this boat. Here's the instructions. Took him 100 years to build it. So if you ever have a chance, go to Kentucky and spend a day there walking through that ark. That's how big it is. It's funny, J.W. Org didn't jump on that and want to put an ark into Ramapo, but maybe that's because it's already done in Kentucky by another religion. Okay, here's a tip. If you're preparing a lesson to teach people biblical truth, don't add, and this is from this article I'm reading, I'm not giving you guys a tip, but here's what he says. If you're preparing lessons to teach people biblical truth, don't add to the information given in the Bible and say that this is what the Bible says. You see, as Jehovah's Witnesses, once and today, they'll say, well, Noah was out preaching. It says here in 2 Peter. He was doing the same thing we're doing. And you see, we have the ark of salvation. You see, none of that stuff's in the Bible. We were told this over and over again in printed form through the religion, to the point that, like we have in our thumbnail, that J.W. Org thinks there was a watchtower cart on the ark, basically. So doesn't say that in the Bible. So you can say, so here's what this guy's saying, and I agree with this reasoning. Like none of us were there. That's thousands of years ago. And all we have is this Bible to read, right? So we got to look at all the clues in it. We got to look at how God dealt with people. Nineveh, Jonah was sent in to save the nation. God had a plan. God's plan with Noah was to save 8 people. That's it. So here's what he says. Don't add to the information given in the Bible and say that this is what the Bible says. You can say, maybe this happened or such and such is possible, but don't say that the Bible says this happened if the Bible does not say it. And that's what religions do. They tell us stuff that we have to really do a lot of checking to see if it's even in the Bible. Okay, we're going to move on. The Mandela effect. We talked about that, the Mandela effect. It's a term was originated in 2009. I'm going to play a little movie here. It's really short. It's only 2 minutes. And they'll explain it better than me. Here we go.
The Mandela effect refers to a phenomenon in which a large mass of people believe an event occurred when it in fact did not. The term Mandela effect was first coined in 2009 by Fiona Broome. Broome was at a conference talking with others about how she remembered the tragedy of former South African President Nelson Mandela's death in a South African prison in the late 1980s. However, Nelson Mandela did not die in the 1980s in a prison. He passed away in 2013. Broome learned she was not alone. Other people remembered seeing news coverage of his death, as well as a speech by his widow. So why does this happen? One theory suggests the possibility that alternate realities exist and are mixing with our own timeline. But a more likely explanation involves false memories. When memories are recalled, rather than remembered perfectly, they are influenced. In this way, memory is often unreliable. The role of the internet can also be a factor. It's a powerful way to spread information, but with it comes the potential for misconceptions and falsehoods to gain traction. And evidence shows that remembering something repeatedly builds confidence in the memory, even if it grows more inaccurate over time. Yet, despite reasonable evidence that the human memory is to blame, the Mandela effect continues to be a hotly debated phenomenon.
Okay, I got my mic on. We're going to welcome David to the stage. Hello, David.
Hey,
How are you doing?
good. Can you hear me okay?
Can hear you excellent.
Okay, great. I got a new mic, so hopefully it works better.
Really good.
Is your sound on?
Yeah, my sound's on. Your sound's on. We have sound. Culty says we have sound.
Yeah,
So we're good.
we're good. Sorry.
So what's up?
Oh, I'm just watching your show. So,
Yeah,
I agree
that
pretty much.
the lexicon thing you sent me is really good. We're going to take a look at that.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
That's a good study tool.
I believed in 2 Peter chapter 2, verse 5. It does reference Noah as a preacher of righteousness or a proclaimer of righteousness, depending on how you look at it. That's the only place I could find there where any reference like that is made.
You notice in the Kentucky Ark, I didn't see anything where Noah was out preaching. They didn't reference that at all. Did you notice that?
If he was the biggest failure of a preacher.
Yeah. But I don't think he was preaching.
No,
I think he just built the boat and people asked and laughed at him.
I would say proclaimer of righteousness would be a more proper way of going about it.
Or herald, whatever.
Yeah.
I don't like herald because Russell used it, but here I'm looking at one other thing here. Let's just add this to the stage. Noah, I looked at him on Wikipedia, and I wanted to look at the religious views, where Noah came from. Now, where was it? Mandela effect. I was looking for information on what religion Noah was, and it was coming up that he was Islamic. Now, the Islams really believe in Noah a lot. Now, where is that? I don't know if I lost it. But Noah says Abrahamic religion. The term Abrahamic religion is three of the major religions due to their historical coexistence and competition. It refers to Abraham, a figure mentioned in the Hebrew Bible and the Quran, and is used to show similarities between these religions. So Islam is big on Noah as well. Now, the Baha'i writings are big on Noah. Mormons, everyone, pretty well all of Christianity. So Noah, Judaism, Mandaism, here we go. Judaism, they believe in Noah. Mandeism, do you know what that is?
I'm not familiar with that one.
Christianity, of course, 2 Peter 2 and 5 refers to Noah as a preacher of righteousness. That's from the New American Standard Bible. The Gospel of Matthew and Luke, Jesus compares Noah's flood with the coming of the days of judgment. Just as it was in the days of Noah, so it will be in the days of the coming of the Son of Man. Now, I was looking at preaching. When did the preaching work really start? Door to door, people getting out there. And that was really after Jesus came. The preaching work started. The preaching work was not a thing in the Old Testament. There was times when God would say, like to Jonah, go in and tell those people they're going to die or do something. And Jonah would, right? Or ran away at first.
Of a people thing. Like it was a certain people that were going, but if you weren't in that family, it wasn't in your cards.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't see anybody preaching like Mormons and JWs until Jesus came.
Yeah, I would agree.
And then again, when I looked at preaching, Jesus was 30 years old. If we're supposed to be followers of him, that means he was mature. People in them days died like at about 40. So he'd be equivalent to like a 50-year-old preaching, if you look at it from
even
that
with
angle.
The preaching on the streets too, that didn't really come until after Jesus.
Yep. So in my opinion, I don't agree with Noah going out and preaching. I think that's the Mandela effect. People have been saying it forever and everyone believes it.
Yeah.
That's what I think. Druze faith, I've never heard of that. The Druze regard Noah as the second spokesman after Adam. Islam, Noah's highly important figure in Islam, and he's seen as one of the most significant of all prophets. The Quran contains 43 references of Noah.
Noah would be probably the first prophet, wouldn't he?
I would think, eh?
Yeah. I don't know if
the Baha'i faith, they regard the Ark flood as symbolic. The Baha'i believes only Noah's followers were spiritually alive, preserved in the Ark of his teachings, as others were spiritually dead. The Baha'is, similar to JWs, are compared to them as a cult. Then there's the Ahmadiyyan. Don't know what that is, but they believe in it as well. The period described in the Quran. There's some Islam group, maybe. So there you go. There's a little bit. And then I went to JW.org, of course, Insight book. And they put all these words in, like this Greek word kuroso. I don't know what that means. You know how JW.org likes to do that? Put all these fancy words in there. So they say this Greek word, which is commonly rendered preach, means basically. See how they do that?
Means basically, yeah.
Means basically see, this is their words.
Means
this
kinda.
This is their words. This is not in the scriptures. And this is what JW.org does. So they take the related noun kirtex, which means herald, public messenger or envoy or crier. Now, this is their words, who made proclamation and kept order in assemblies, etc. I don't know where they got that from. So they're doing their darndest to try to make Noah a preacher. But he wasn't. Here it is. JW.org says, preaching in the Hebrew scriptures, they say Noah is the first person designated as a preacher. And they're just using that one scripture, 2 and 5. You see, that's what they do. They grab onto one scripture. They don't read the whole thing.
That's all
read
you
it
got.
all. They say, although Enoch's earlier prophesying may have been made known by preaching. See, they're trying to make all of these people in the Old Testament preachers. Why? They want to justify why they send women and children preaching. It's just justification in my mind. What's your thoughts on all
I would
of their...
agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
Okay, well, let's... Sorry, go ahead.
Well, I would see him maybe as a proclaimer, because I try to think of back in that day, it would be, it was just bad everywhere. Everybody just had bad thoughts. You know, they only wanted to hurt each other. And he was probably the only one that was a half decent human being that we could work with.
Yeah. See, now, if I was on earth at that time and God appeared and said, or spoke to me and said, Vern, I want you to build an ark. Here's the dimensions. Here's how you do it. Never mentioned preaching, nothing, right?
Yep.
So now, if Noah would have went out preaching, God said the whole world's gone. Only you guys, 8 of you, are living, going to make it through this. Would it not be disobeying God if he went out preaching? He's supposed to be building the ark. He's a herald of righteousness. He's a good man, is what I take that as. He was a good man. And if people came to him, he said, well, believe in God. Believe in God. That's what we're doing. We're building this boat. A flood's coming. The people start laughing. You know, I don't see him going out and preaching.
I don't see him having time. He's got like 120 years to build a big boat.
Yeah.
And collect a lot of animals.
Yeah, he's got a big job, man.
It seems, that's a stretch.
So all it says in 2 Peter here is he preserved Noah, a herald of righteousness, with 7 others. He preserved him. He was a righteous guy, a herald of righteousness. By faith, Hebrews says, by faith, Noah, being warned by God concerns events as yet unseen, in reverent fear constructed an ark for saving his household. See that? There was no room on that ark to save people.
True.
There was no room on that ark. There was only
food.
room for him and his household. So why would you go preaching if you know they're all dying? Why? I wouldn't. I'd feel like I'm going against God. So by this, he condemned the world, became an heir of righteousness. Yeah, he was the heir. Genesis 6 talks about it. Again, it's just talking. Oh, it does say 120 years.
Oh, it doesn't say in Genesis?
For his days shall be 120 years. The Nephilim were on earth. So
yeah, I'm not too sure what that passage means.
My spirit shall not abide for you. Let's when mankind had become corrupted, the period preceding the flood, God said, my spirit shall not abide in man forever, for he is flesh, his days shall be 120 years. So man shall be 120 years?
That's how I took it. But I'm
Yeah,
that was,
interesting.
that's a hard passage to understand.
Understand. Well, this is right here. Google did it for us. How many years of life does the Bible promise us? Cora, the short answer, which no one was adequately answered, 70 to 80 years. God gave a promise for us to Moses. Listen carefully. As a minimum, Moses lived 120 years. So it might have something to do with how long people lived after the flood.
Yeah.
Today's 70, 80 years is common. The Nephilim were on Earth in those days. So we cannot imagine what it could have been like, how evil, how wicked it could have been. They were mighty men. It'd be nice to get some Nephilim helping to build that ark, eh?
They
They
might
were
have helped
mighty,
with the pyramid too.
lifting the timbers.
Yeah.
Okay, so what else here? Second Peter talks about it. While the ark was being prepared, in which a few, again, the numbers there, 8, were brought safely through the water. Why go preaching if it's only designed for 8? What are they going to build a boat? You go preach to everyone, are they going to build their own boat? Maybe.
I think there are other stories, not in the Bible, but other stories, I believe in Asia, about others that had a boat. So who knows how big that flood was?
No. Who knows?
Or it could have been a different flood.
Well, that's depends on who you follow. If the Bible says there's one flood,
Yeah.
Historians say there were many floods. What do I know? I don't know how to read the earth. 2 Timothy, 2 Thessalonians. So that's about it. So I had the Bible. Here's where you come in. This is the Bible, the Logos Bible Study Aid. And I punched in Noah there. You get all the stuff, all the references.
If you click on, if you click on Bible, I think that would give you all the passages in that search window you're in. On the right side. No, on the other right tab. Yeah, see where it says Bible. Okay. Yeah. Now it should give you. I think it would give you all the passages in there of it, or maybe not. I'm still learning this too.
It's a powerful tool.
Yeah, it's great. I'm still learning
original language. Here's some original language root word. Yeah. That's interesting, eh? Yeah, this is how you can become a Bible scholar, by studying some of this stuff, I think. If you type 2 words, example, love neighbor, the search will find verses, chapters, and contain both of these words. So I punched in Noah and Ark.
Maybe just Noah, it would give us all the Noah ones. Because I don't know if Noah and Ark are together.
Oh, look at that. There's, you see that there? I don't know if you can see that. I'm blow this up a bit. I can't really blow this page up. So anyways, if you look at, where was I? Bible? What were you telling? Oh, right there. I punched in there.
Just have Noah maybe without Ark.
Okay, because it could be the Ark of the Covenant. There's Noah. Enter. And
maybe a person.
It's like this.
Yeah, I'm confused on it myself. I did get it to work though, and every passage with Noah just came right up to me. It was easy to track and pull.
Well, things. I did it up here. You can punch Noah in up here, Noah, and then it just pulls up chapter 5. It just pulls it right up really quick.
I did something. I'm not too sure because it was highlighting Noah on my Bible side, but then it was just showing me passage after passage on the search engine.
Okay.
We have to play with it more.
Yeah. Well, anyways, that's, I think we could cover the scriptures, but I think everyone kind of knows it. The 2 Peter one is the only one that really says he's a preacher. In some Bibles, not in all Bibles. Herald, it says a herald of righteousness. A proclaimer of righteousness.
Proclaimers, yeah, that's what I found.
Yeah.
I agree with
But-
proclaimer.
Yeah. Proclaimer. So he's a proclaimer of righteousness. What would a proclaimer of righteousness look like to you?
Maybe someone that is a peacemaker where no one wants peace, but he's not going to be listened to. You know, maybe somebody's kind of like, hey, let's keep the peace, but they're like, why?
Yeah, exactly. Now, Gabby said the ark was buried in a glacial ice. There was some, they were looking on that Mount Ararat for it, and it looked like it from the sky, but I watched a thing on there where they debunked it, and they said it would look like rock walls, but I don't know. You have to do your own research on that one, but if you look on the internet, it could look like they found Noah's Ark. I thought they did at one time. And then the more I researched it, they got up there and they debunked it. Have you researched that one?
I've heard about them finding a spot on a mountain with old nails and old wood and stuff like that, but yeah, I'm not that smart on all that stuff. I think I've seen it on TV, actually.
007 says during the glacier, the Black Sea was a large freshwater lake. The strait broke through, bringing salt water some 7,000 years ago. Interesting. Yeah, so there's some good research out there. If you have an article on that 007, send it to us and we'll look it up.
I heard some theories that the world was actually more of like a plump grape before the flood, and then it shrunk, and then that's where the flood came, and then it eventually like went down. That's where we got our bigger oceans, possibly.
I wonder if the Earth was kind of flattish. They say it's not really round. You ever watch some of that stuff? It's not really round, the Earth.
I'm all into the flat Earth stuff. I don't know
so
if
maybe
it's true, but
maybe it was more flatter back then. Now, I watched a video the other night. It said one of the Jupiter was flat when it started. Jupiter was flat.
I guess like by circumference, is the size of it. I feel Jupiter could be because it's huge.
It's kind of like this.
Yeah.
Like this, and then it eventually went round.
Oh, okay, like ovaled out more, like
yeah. That's what they say the Earth was kind of like too. But maybe when the flood came, it rounded it up a bit.
I believe it was Neil deGrasse Tyson said the Earth was pear-shaped.
Yeah,
pear-shaped. Here at the bottom.
Yep. So yeah, there's we might not all. He says our globes aren't round. They show them round, but it's not really round. God's limited means lifespan 120 years. However, the oldest person to ever live was 129. So God was wrong. Wow, it's close, eh? Okay, we don't want to call God wrong. We don't want to get into trouble here. Get destroyed. Who knows, right? I don't know. Don't want to speak out of turn. We can't hear you. Okay. Culty Talk said that. You can hear me now, though. I was just looking at a comment. Okay, Neil deGrasse Tyson is a paid shill, a useful idiot. Everyone's entitled to their opinion. I kind of like him. I don't know. I don't see him as an idiot. He's not. He doesn't seem like he's a know-it-all, does he? Maybe.
I find him. Well, yeah, kind of. But I find him entertaining.
Yeah, you got to take everything with a grain of salt, I think, don't you?
Yeah, he's good at explaining stuff.
Yvonne says someone said recently that Christ didn't start his preaching work until he was 30. Yeah, which puts a big question into the JWs. Exactly, Yvonne. Like, why are we sending women and children out? I don't even know in the Bible if women and children were ever sent out to the preaching work. Now, I think some women at Jesus' time, there's a lot of women that were with him. But did they go out in the preaching work? See, I know Jesus sent 70. Were there women? There definitely weren't children. He sent 70 out, and wasn't that when the flame, did the Holy Spirit come on him and allow him to speak in different languages and go to all these different Gentile nations to set churches up? Or was that Pentecost? Was that after Jesus? Was Pentecost during Jesus or after Jesus?
I want to say that's the Pentecost was when he ascended. I could be wrong on that.
Well, let's look at the Bible tool. Well, here, let me, let's punch Pentecost in this little tool here and see what comes up. Pentecost. Doesn't say. I spelt it right. Paul starts his third missionary journey. So this is a Paul thing, eh? Pentecost? That's
I know
what it
there's
says.
a church that are called Pentecostals, which I know is. Maybe I should go to the church one day and learn a little bit. Find out exactly what that is.
You can learn it right here. We're going to learn it together. We're going to learn it together. Pentecost. I'm just going to plug it in. I use this tool. If I spelt it right. Pentecost. Pentecost? Okay, it's a Paul thing. When the day of Pentecost arrived, they were all together in one place. And suddenly there came from heaven a sound like a mighty rushing wind. And it filled the entire house where they were sitting, and the divided tongues as of fire appeared upon them, rested on each one of them, and they were all filled with Holy Spirit and began to speak in other languages or other tongues as the Spirit gave them utterance. And now they were dwelling in Jerusalem, Jews, devout men from every nation under the heavens. So from my understanding, this is when Paul sent them out to the Gentiles. They had to go to all these different lands. And I researched that a little further when I was looking at this. And Gentiles, each of the churches that were set up, if you think there were 70 lands, 70 seems to be a big biblical number. There were 70 children. Abraham, didn't he? There were 70.
Yeah, 70 is a big number.
So,
actually, Septuagint is Latin for Septuaginta, which is 70, which is basically the 70. Well, actually, I think it's 72 scribes that were translating. I think it was 6 from each of the 12 tribes.
So 70 is a big number. So they went out. I was doing some research when I wrote my book that these guys went to different towns, and each church was a little different. It had the flavor of Matthew. The church had the flavor of the apostle. Some of these apostles. Now I'm probably confused because Jesus sent the 12 out, and there were churches set up. They set churches up, and they all had a different flavor. I forget. One of them went to Turkey, set a church up, and there was a Christianity after each of the apostles. You go all over you can follow this. It's interesting. Yeah. That's why we don't want to demonize all that stuff. Jesus sent them out there. Paul sent them out there. Why would we demonize all of that work? Yeah. Right?
I mean,
JWs do.
Each church does have its own feel to it. You know, some of them are really hyper, and some of them are all about music. Because I watch a Methodist church on Facebook. It's a church close to me. I don't go there, but I watch them on Facebook every now and then. They always got bands and stuff playing. It's pretty nice, but they got, they're big on their music at that one.
Yeah. So here's a good point Keith brought out. Yeshua, Jesus, whatever you want to call him, he was baptized at 29. So that means if we're going to be followers of Christ, why are we getting baptized at 10 years old? Why are we baptizing our kids? Mm-hmm. If we really truly want to be followers of Christ. You see, I think it takes a lot of studying, a lot of work to really know everything, and you might be 30 years old or even older before you're ready for baptism. What do you think, Adrian?
I agree. I believe there's 2 types. There's baptized by the Spirit, and then there's baptized by water.
Yeah,
I'm not too sure on the exact differences of that.
Yeah.
My cousin, I know he baptized me when I was young, so maybe that counts. He's no preacher, but
what does it say here? Yeshua is nothing like how Catholic Church and JWs portray him. That's almost like you got to go to Gnostic readings. I don't know. It's interesting. So yeah, if you ever want to come on the show, who was that put that tier 5? If you ever want to come on the show and talk about some of this stuff, we welcome you on. The link is there. This is an open discussion. None of us have all the answers. We came out of JW.org. We're trying to figure this out. But I am confident. I'm going to go by the fact that Noah was not out preaching. He was building an ark. And he was a righteous man, so he heralded righteousness in everything.
Righteous.
You know, he wasn't out there killing people. He wasn't out there swearing at people. He probably got out there and said, "Look, God, this is God's doing. The flood's coming, and it's going to destroy everyone." He probably was a herald of righteousness like that.
I guess we could count that. We could count that as preaching, maybe, if he's saying, "Hey, this is coming," but nobody's going to listen. But
yeah. But he's not a door-to-door preacher.
No.
And his preaching was not about saving people. Sorry, I spoke some more.
His preaching probably was who came to him while he was building the ark saying, "What are you doing?" And he's telling him what he's doing. And that was
it. He wasn't going door to door. He didn't have a watchtower cart. He wasn't trying to save people because God had no room to save people in that ark. 8 people. That's it. It wasn't a Jonah thing. God did not tell him to go and save as many people as he could. So I'm confident that he was not a preacher. He was just a righteous man building a boat, following God's instructions. And I think all these religions today view him as going out and preaching and saving people. I think they got it a bit wrong. I think that's like a Mandela effect. Once you got a bunch of religions saying that, then everyone goes with it. And there's good money in preaching, good money in books, and getting, like, the Mormons make good money at that. JWs make good money.
If you want to get rich, start a religion.
Start a religion. I don't know how many religions get out in the preaching and spend lots of money preaching, but they all do. They all do. They all sell books, and they all evangelize in one way or another, and they all use Noah as an example. No, look, Noah did it. We're just doing what Noah did.
And most of his kids were pretty good.
If we're doing what Noah did, we're in a spiritual ark. Like, we're in a sea can here. It's like an ark. We don't have a bunch of animals in here, but our dog and cat does come in here. And are we going to float in the water with this ark? No, but it's a spiritual ark, right? So in here is where we have our spiritual ark. Religions could be a spiritual ark, I guess, in that sense, right? For the people to come in. This is like an ark, I guess. I don't know. But am I going out preaching from this ark? No. God said, stay here until the flood comes. Not really, but you know what I'm saying. Okay, we have another person on the backstage. We have Natasha Peters. Are you ready to come on, Natasha? I'll put you on the stage. Are you nodding? Welcome. Hello, Natasha.
Hey, how are you doing?
Good. Thanks for coming on with us today.
Well,
so what do you think?
I listen to Linda James.
Mm-hmm.
And I am out of Jehovah's Witnesses since 1985.
Good for you.
The same year I was baptized.
you get in and got out the same year? That's like my son.
I was blackmailed into baptism to go to college.
I blackmailed my son into it. I said, you can't get a car and insurance without getting baptized.
Yeah, and they didn't fulfill the promise.
You were blackmailed to go to college?
Yes.
Wow.
Really?
Yeah, so I went to college, and they took me out of there before the semester finished.
Really?
And they sent me to a pioneer home with pioneer sisters. Way out of nowhere in a village in Quebec. And
Wow.
yeah, so I
Do you
was
live in
stuck
Quebec?
there for almost a month, and that's where I wrote my disassociation letter.
Good for you. Do you live in Quebec still?
No, I live in BC.
Oh, BC. Okay. Well, we might get a
You
chance
should
to come and
know
see you.
Rutherford. You know Rutherford?
No. Who?
Rutherford.
Which?
That's the name of my
Oh,
town.
yeah. I know where Revelstoke is. I know Revelstoke.
That's
That's where
where
you
I
live,
live.
Revelstoke? That's not too far away.
Beautiful.
A beautiful
I know.
place.
If you come to BC, stop
Oh,
by my
I, I
place.
I've
I
been
have
in
a
Revel.
nice bedroom
I've been in
for you guys.
Revelstoke a lot, and we might come through and see you, Natasha. Now that we know that, for sure.
Well, I'm glad
Yes.
because I
Hmm.
know where you are about. But yeah, so
Yeah,
yes, you're
we'll come and
welcome,
see you.
guys.
Yeah.
I don't
So,
have
what
a
do you
big
think
place,
of?
but but I have a nice bedroom for you guys.
Oh,
You know,
it'd be great. Now,
there's
Natasha,
even a
what do you
TV
think?
in there.
What do you think about the Noah's Ark thing?
Oh
Do you
my
think? Do
goodness.
you think Noah was a preacher?
My goodness.
I don't think so. We didn't have time for to do that.
No. Well, God didn't tell him to, but again,
No, that.
that's my.
But see, I am an agnostic since I left, and way before I left. I had questions since I was less than 5 years old.
Hmm,
Maybe
5 years
it's
old.
because I was abused. I was a CSA victim
Oh
from
boy.
birth until I was 13, and
Hmm.
my
I'm sorry to
father.
hear that.
It was a good JW in good standing. Don't worry.
Mhm.
He had so much money that yeah. When he got caught, he was disfellowship for only 6 months.
Wow, that's it, eh?
Yeah, yeah. That's when my little sister came up with it, and she had at least 5 other little girls, girls her age at that time,
Mhm.
uh, that came up, and yeah.
There you go, David. Keith's saying hi.
That's what I was waving.
I was going to put Keith's comment up here. Keith said LDS is the most intelligent organization that has ever covered this god-forsaken planet. The Pope is a freaking peasant to that. So, what do you mean by that? That they really cover the planet? Well, they're a big religion, LDS.
I
Way
believe they
bigger
have
than
their own
No,
college.
everyone's gonna have a planet. Every family is gonna have their own planet in Mormon faith.
Yeah, I think they part of their
Yeah,
faith is becoming a god.
yeah. I followed that for a good while, and I still follow some of them ex Mormon.
That's a responsibility I don't want.
And I agree with Yvonne. You know, people should have mature brains before baptism. If they want to be Christ-like, you'd be mature, wouldn't you?
Mhm.
I didn't see John the Baptist baptizing children.
I
No.
argued with my parents and the elders that Jesus was baptized at the age of 30.
Yeah.
It didn't work.
It's all
I
about
had to
money.
be baptized at
They
17.
they tithe 10%, so they got that money.
Yeah. Yeah. You see, yeah, you're right. So once they get them baptized, they're in for the 10% in the LDS. It's all about money.
Oh yes, sir. Yeah.
And once you're baptized into the JWs, they hooked you and you're a contributor for life,
Yeah,
hopefully, right?
they guilt trip you into their contributing.
Yeah. Need to find a rich Mormon.
No, you know that my father is really old. He was born in 36. So he saw the war in Europe there, where I was born, and where I was born too. Was born in Belgium.
Hmm.
And Yeah. What was I going to say there about that? I lost
Well,
my
okay.
train of thought.
Natasha, when did you? Okay, you were born in Belgium. How did you
Yeah.
get into a JW family? How did you go to a JW family?
Oh, I'm third generation.
Oh, so you were raised in it?
Oh yeah, it's
Raised
third generation. It's both
three.
my grandmas.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And then you and in 1985 you got baptized that year, and then you quit that year.
Yeah. I was baptized at the Olympic Stadium in Montreal. It was a huge event. It was an international assembly. And after my baptism, the one radio station, it was AM at the time, AM station. They came and they interviewed me, but in French, so it was easier. But
Mm-hmm.
they asked me how I felt.
Hmm.
Do you know what I
Now,
answered?
no, how
I
did you
said, I
say that?
feel wet. I feel wet.
Whipped?
Wet. I feel
Whipped?
wet because I just came out of baptism. I just went out of the water.
Oh, wet.
I feel
Wet. Water all over you.
Yeah.
Wet. Yes. Yes. Yeah. Well, they're thinking that you
Sorry
got
for my
some big
bad accent.
experience. See, the elders or whatever, they think once you get baptized, you come out of the water and you feel different. Well, you just feel cold and wet, right?
Exactly.
Like I didn't feel any difference. I felt the same thing. Give me my towel. I hope
Well,
no
I
one's
didn't
looking.
even answer. I didn't answer one of the questions because it was the first year that they came with the new question,
Oh yeah.
like Jehovah's organization, and I didn't answer the BS.
Hmm.
But we were so
Yeah.
many to get baptized, nobody noticed.
So I got baptized, I think, in 1983.
Oh my goodness.
So
You didn't live 75.
No.
I was 7 years old in 1975, and I
okay.
remember everything. Yeah.
Hmm.
It was in Belgium.
Yeah. Now let's ask David. David was not your father. Was a JW. Was he at all his life, or did he convert?
No, he converted in. I was maybe 5, 6 when he got in, and he got baptized. He was doing some talks and stuff, and then just kind of faded after that. Actually, it was once we found. Yeah, my dad faded. Once we found out about the disfellowshipping, it just kind of ruined the whole mood. I was like, yeah.
Oh, good.
Good for you guys.
Yeah,
it
good.
was just us, really. So it wasn't. We didn't have much family in there.
Mm-hmm.
Just a cousin.
Well, good
we
for you.
don't know them either.
You're a great contributor to this community, David. So thanks for all your hard work. You're really helping a lot of people. And Natasha as well. We see you on all the time. So I was wondering.
Yeah, I know.
I knew some Petersons that were JWs, but your last name is Peters. Quite a bit different.
Yeah, Peters. The two E's. It's from Flemish, from Belgium.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the Netherlands, the same language as the Netherlands.
See, the people that started studying with me were Danish. I was living in Peachland, BC at the time. That's
I know that place. Yeah, sure. Just passed there like last week, because for my birthday, my ex took me to Osoyoos. We went camping in Osoyoos.
Okay. My speaker just went out.
You know Osoyoos, don't you?
I know where Osoyoos is. It's hot down there.
It was really hot.
Lost connection. Try sharing.
But at least,
that's why. Pardon me?
At least we can go in the water because up here it's so cold.
Yeah, and Revelstoke is cold. Revelstoke
The
gets a
water
lot of
is
snow.
cold, but yeah, but we have 38 degrees these days. 38 Celsius. Yeah.
Right. Okay, so
Yeah,
what
it's
we
pretty
want to
hot.
do here is let's see if we have any more comments on the Noah, the Mandela effect. Anybody? Did you see anything in the comments there you want to cover? Should we look at? I think we looked at enough scriptures. What do you think, David? You want to look at some?
Well, there's some interesting things about Noah that has nothing to do with that I was looking into when you were talking about bringing up this topic.
Mhm.
When Ham on Genesis 9:22, when Ham seen his father's nakedness, a lot when
Okay.
at first glance you
Ham?
think Ham, yeah, his son, his youngest son.
I'm Steph
Genesis.
and Jeff.
Yeah, because Noah had 3 sons. It was Shem, Ham, and Japheth.
Jeff, yeah.
Okay. So which Genesis is that?
Genesis 9:22.
I always laughed at that name because Ham is like it's a big part, you know. It's not allowed then.
Okay, so here I'll put it on the screen here for you. Can you guys see that? It's pretty small writing.
I
Let
should.
me see what else if I have another. I can find it. I can make this one bigger.
Like walnut crunch and Dutchie.
Oh my goodness!
Sugar twist and blueberry sour cream. Before they're gone.
I am really sorry for the noise.
Wow, look at those awesome glasses. I was looking at spy glasses today with cameras, so that's what comes up. Those look like they have a screen inside. Anyways.
AR is coming
Okay.
soon.
Genesis 5. Let's just do this.
9:22 is where the nakedness
is a good one. Okay. 9 and 22. Read the full chapter. And all the ads. 9 and 22. Here we are. And Ham, the father of Canaan, saw the nakedness of his father and told his 2 brothers outside. That's what it says.
Yeah, and then Noah curses Canaan in Genesis in 9:25.
And then he said, "Cursed be Canaan, a servant of the servants shall he be to his brothers."
I feel that's strange because that's his grandson. Why would he curse his youngest grandson for his other son seeing him naked? At least that's how I take it at face value. But what's weird is if he just saw him naked while he was drunk at Genesis 9:24, he knew what his youngest son done to him. So this is something that was done to him, I feel.
Oh, look at that. When Noah awoke from his wine, he knew his youngest son had done it to him. So it sounds like his son got drunk or got him drunk.
Or did something to him while he was drunk. Now, we see about the nakedness of the father. If we go to Leviticus 18:8, that's where we're getting to the sexual relations of moral law. And that clears up what your father's nakedness is.
Okay, Leviticus. How come I missed
Yeah, we're
that?
book hopping here.
No, good. I'm just going to find it. I'm used to this tool. There it is. Okay, Leviticus number what? Chapter
18, verse 8. And that gets into detail of what your father's nakedness is.
Okay, so 18, Leviticus 18 and verse 8. You shall not uncover the nakedness of your father's wife. It is your father's nakedness. You shall not uncover the nakedness of your sister, your father's daughter, or your mother's daughter, whether brought up in the family or in another home. So the term, you shall not uncover the nakedness, probably means to have sex.
That's what I'm thinking. And Canaan, that's where I feel like where the Canaan part, that's has me wonder. I mean, I don't know if it's specific enough, but what if Canaan was born from his mother, or at least Noah's wife, and that's why he cursed Canaan, his youngest grandchild? Or
Well,
if
it says
was,
here, what does it mean to uncovered nakedness? It says it's some sexual sin. Before the fall of mankind, Garden of Eden, Adam and Eve lived without clothing. But after the fall, nakedness became a source of shame. In fact, shame at their own nakedness was the first felt consequence of Adam and Eve's sin. Since then, nakedness has been linked with sexuality, privacy, and vulnerability. When the Bible speaks of uncovering nakedness, is usually referring to some type of sexual sin, perversion, or dishonor.
So what about the two witness whore?
The two
That was
witness what?
just a matter of money, not matter of sex.
Well, yeah, it's like if this CSA was a sin. That's what it's saying here. CSA is
absolutely.
it's a crime. But
Well, it's
even
a crime.
it's a crime. But even here in the Bible,
it don't have to be in the Bible to be a sin, I feel.
No.
Just seeing the nakedness is a sin. So what about abusing children?
Oh, it's a crime. It's a crime. It's a crime and a sin.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's that's what it's saying. You shall not uncover the nakedness of anybody but your wife.
Exactly.
Yeah, I thought
So
that
there
was
you go.
because it gave me a lot of questions with that, because it was like, did he do something to his father, or was it his mother? And then why is Canaan in the mix? You know, because it didn't say Canaan did anything except for get cursed, and I'm wondering did he curse him because he couldn't curse his sons because God already blessed them when they got off the ark, and you can't curse what God's already blessed? I don't like it. It leaves a lot of questions.
Yeah.
It's not answered. There's no answer to it. But I thought that was
so. Verse
interesting.
3, that same, it says, "You shall not do as they did in the land of Egypt where you lived, and you shall not do as they do in the land of Canaan, to which I am bringing you. You shall not walk in their statutes. You shall follow my rules, keep my statutes, walk in them. I'm the Lord your God. You shall therefore keep my statutes, my rules." So probably the Lord your God, Lord would probably be Yahweh if you translated that over, probably. I think. Or no, maybe Lord your God is not Yahweh.
Yeah, if it's all caps Lord, then it's to the Tetragrammaton. Tetragrammaton.
The Lord thy God is open phrasing of the Ten Commandments. What is the meaning of Lord your God? I'm the Lord your God who brought you out of Egypt from the house of slavery. That's Yahweh. What does the scripture say? I'm the Lord your God. Yeah, so that'd be Yahweh. Okay, well, interesting. Anything else you find interesting that you want to share?
Well, actually, what you were mentioning earlier, the parallels between Noah and Lot in the Sodom and Gomorrah. There's a lot of comparisons there about how those cities, they were just basically as bad as we could say the world was in Noah's time, while they needed complete destruction. And then when he gets out, he was essayed by his two daughters, similar to Noah, while he was drunk. It's kind of like, and he had no idea what happened to him, which is weird because Noah knew something happened to him when he was passed out drunk. Lot had no idea what his daughters did to him 2 nights in a row, nights back to back.
Try that today in court.
You got a what?
Tried
Natasha?
that today in court. I said, tried that today in court. He had no idea.
He had no idea.
He had no idea.
Yeah, lie
Yeah,
hands up.
tried
Yeah.
that today in a court of law.
Try saying that in a court of law. Today.
Oh, try saying that in the court of law. I have no idea.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Might
the
not order one.
marvelous. Thank you, the marvelous wife, to translate for me.
Je peux parler un peu en français aussi, hey?
Ah, that's why.
But not lots. So
Here,
no, we're good.
just say some more.
No, that's it.
That's it.
Unless you want me to teach everybody how to swear in French.
I'm down for that.
You see-
Oh, I can
see,
do that too, you know.
Oh yeah, tabernacle. Yeah, I know.
That's why we can
That's
go to
fine from
Quebec.
Quebec. Yeah.
Got my good wife here to talk.
My
Canada's
daughter's still in Quebec. She
bilingual.
was born in Quebec, and she's still there.
Well,
Canada's kind of like the U.S. U.S. is English and Spanish, and they say by in a period of time, Spanish will overtake English in the world. Spanish
Yeah.
by 2060 or something.
I don't think French is going to overtake.
I don't
English,
think
so-
French will though,
No.
but Spanish will.
No,
It's,
I
it's
don't
close.
think so. I don't. No, that's not enough. No, not enough people. But it's
So-
a big language. I love the language, but
But you're right. Try saying that in a court of law. I don't know. You're not
So-
getting away with
So
it.
here's one for you, David. Jane's trying to come up with some answers for you. Maybe men cannot have sex when they're drunk.
Oh, they can. It's not easy, but they can. You might have some complications, but you can get to where you're going.
Well, maybe they're not supposed
that's
to have
what I.
sex
That's
when.
what I meant. That's what I meant. What a judge would say about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So
You
yeah,
can
it's
try.
interesting.
You can try, but I don't
Depends on
think
how drunk.
you're not gonna be convicted.
Yeah. No, the Bible's an interesting book. You know, it's been around for a lot of years, so I find it
It is.
challenging as well to try to find something out of it. But I find that getting out of JW.org, man, they put a lot of supposition, a lot of their own stuff when they read stuff. They'll make books out of that one sentence, Noah's a preacher of righteousness. They'll write books upon that, books of books, magazines, articles.
And they pick
If
and
you look at
choose. They pick
JW.org.
and choose, and they have big elaborations on a little thing, you know.
Yeah, and they'll take little things. I find the Paradise Earth. I can't support that anywhere. There's like a couple scriptures in Psalms that they use, but there's other religions that believe that too. You know, it's not just JW.org, right? I don't know what you think of
Exactly.
that, Dave.
I have mixed
The
feelings
Paradise.
about it. It sounds nice,
Yep.
but I don't know. I mean, I guess with
No.
a perfect mind, I mean, yeah, I don't know. It's
Why
hard
didn't
concept
Adam and
to
Eve
take
want to
on.
be in it? You see,
True.
some say
Not
Eve made the right choice. Because if you're in a paradise, you're all perfect. How are you going to learn all the lessons, right? All the lessons that we're learning through this journey on Earth. If you're
That-
perfect, you're not going to
yeah,
learn
you always
lessons.
want to keep exploring and just learning more about the world. If it's just like kind of, well, this is it for eternity. Enjoy the fruit basket.
Yep.
That's not enjoyable to me.
No.
I like to
Like-
explore and I don't mean just travel explore, just unraveling new depths of reality kind of stuff.
Well, what I read from Jesus' words is he talked a lot about the kingdom of the heavens. His kingdom was in the heavens. He says it's not on earth. You see, JW.org has built an earthly kingdom.
Mm.
And that's not what Jesus said, I guess. But everyone builds churches, in a sense.
I'm not. Yeah,
So-
like, kind of how I see it is, it's going to be a heaven earth hybrid, possibly, kind of thing.
Possibly, yeah.
Because I think it's the
Mhm.
Persians that are big on the physical body resurrection, and the Greeks were more of the spiritual kind of
Mhm.
resurrection. And I say, why not both?
And then some believe in a reincarnation, like coming back to Earth and having to do it all over again.
I want to say that's more of like way Western or Eastern.
Mm-hmm. Well, Seventh-day Adventists believe in reincarnation.
Yeah, a lot of people believe in coming back. They say like birthmarks have something to do with that. So maybe I got shot in the back because I got a birthmark right there.
Oh, maybe. Who knows?
I don't
Some
remember
people have deja vu. They say, "Yeah, I remember all this stuff from a past life."
Yeah, I also heard deja vu could come from past ancestors, like something that was triggering to them, and it just passed down through their genes, kind of thing. Possibility maybe.
Yeah, interesting. Energy.
Yeah,
it's hard to say. There's so many things we don't know about, right?
Yeah, there's some,
like ghosts,
campfire
UFOs.
smells give me that kind of deja vu feeling, and I don't know why.
Campfire smoke, eh?
Yeah.
Well,
that makes me remember an old joke that oops, excuse me. Makes me remember an old joke. It's someone that come to the gates of paradise, and Saint Peter comes and he says, "Well, I'm going to show you. Well, you have this door." He opens the door and there's many planets, and he says, "That's the Mormons' paradise." And he goes to another door. He said, "That's a Catholic paradise," and everybody's on a little cloud and eating Philadelphia cheese, and it's all white. And then he opened the door and he said, "Shh, shh, don't say anything. They think they're alone. That's the Jehovah's Witness door."
Well, I want to put up Keith's comment because it's a good discussion point. That Psalms, that's what JWs believe. You reside forever. The Psalms. Now, if we think of the Psalms, it was songs. The Israelites were singing songs as they wandered through the desert. They were in the desert. They were longing for an oasis type of setting. They were singing these songs. There's nowhere all the way through the Bible. Like if this was a major doctrine in the Bible, it would have been from start to finish, and it's not. This paradise earth thing. It's another kind of a Mandela made up effect. Everyone believes it because you got too many people saying it, or a few people saying it, so people believe it. Now Keith says LDS agrees with me. I don't know what that means. Which part I talk too much, Keith? Politicians, I don't see the reference. So how did the LDS agree, Keith? You'll let us know.
Maybe
but yeah, LDS, they believe in a lot of different things. I haven't really studied up on them too much, but what else do you know about things, David? Noah.
I know
anything else?
Noah. I got a lot of questions. That's my
Well, tell us your questions. Maybe someone online will have some
Let
answers.
me find some notes here. I've been playing with that Logos Bible app, and I got a few notes in here. I think I had some on Lot and Noah's similarities. I don't know if I took many of them. Oh, okay. So in Noah's day, it was the sons of God was taking the daughters of man, which I think we can agree that's probably where Nephilim, the giants, came from. And in the Sodom and Gomorrah, they too, when the angels came to them, because I think it was God stayed back with Abraham at the time, and the two angels came to go warn, let Lot know about what was going to happen to Sodom and Gomorrah, and the people wanted to have their way with those guys, which is kind of that same parallel, like they was having sex with angels, is kind of what they were hitting at there. So it's very similar to like those times. Like there's a lot of, really close-knit comparisons.
In I think it was Luke and Matthew, it parallels Noah's day was Sodom.
hmm
Okay, let me see if I can find that.
Keith says that LDS believe everything is for a learning reason.
Oh, LDS believes everything was for a learning reason. What does that mean?
So kind of like hatching out of your egg to a new egg, getting out of this matrix to the next matrix.
Oh, okay.
Maybe, I don't know. I'm just
We're on a journey. Now, Natasha's device is not connected, it says. I'll just move her from the studio. So, yeah, if you want to come back on, you can. Anybody else want to come back on? They can. I'll just put an invite again. It's at the top. Here it is. And here we go. There's a StreamYard link. Yeah, there's a lot of questions. Okay, the paradise earth. If that was a main doctrine, wouldn't Jesus have talked about it? Paul, would he have talked about it?
yeah,
If it was a major doctrine for a Christian?
When Jesus was on the cross and he was talking to the thief, saying, today you'll be with me in paradise. And I really think that was more of a, in my mind, I'm seeing it as a spiritual,
Yep.
But then again, if like, say when you're dead, if you're know nothing at all and then you wake up, everything's simultaneous anyway. So it's just as good as tomorrow or today. You're going to be out and we'll be waking you right back up.
See, that's that scripture, what, Luke? That's in Luke, right? You'll be with me in paradise.
So, yeah, I believe so.
And they put JW Oregon, their Bible, they put a comma in there to change the meaning.
Yeah,
Remember?
I think that's ridiculous because he says so many times, like, truly I say to you, truly I say, why would this time, truly today I say to you? That don't jive with me.
Okay, let's see if that comes up. It comes up as Luke 23 and 43. And I'll look it up in the JW Bible, just show you how that changes the meaning of it.
I got my...
all the other JW Bible is the only one that I know
here.
changes the meaning of that scripture. I don't know of any others. Do you?
They have a lot of little tweaks. But yeah, with that comma to make it sound like today I'm telling you the truth. Yeah, you'll be with me in paradise.
Yeah.
But when you look at a lot of Jesus' speeches, he's saying that saying a lot. So saying now this time he's changing and saying today I'm telling you the truth like I wasn't yesterday. That don't make sense.
I lost it. Okay, Luke. What did I say that was? Luke 23. And
Wonder if
I'll
you
put
can
the
get
Bible up. Sure.
the NWT on logos. A lot of sites and stuff do not include the NWT. I'm not too sure if it's actually classified as a real Bible.
No, it's not. Which one was that? Oh yeah, here. He said to him, the evildoer, truly I say to you, comma, today you will be with me in paradise. You see, Jesus was going somewhere to that day, right?
Is that
so? This is the English Standard Version.
Yeah, that's it. Okay, yeah. New translation has that comma after it to make it sound weird.
And here's the New World Translation. And they say, and he said to him, truly I tell you today, comma, you will be with me in paradise. That's the correct version, isn't it? Truly I tell you today? No, truly I tell you, You see, they changed it
Yeah,
from
that's
after
yeah.
you.
They make it's slick.
It's such a quick
It's
little
slick.
change. So here, so truly I say to you, comma, today you'll be with
Today
me in
you'll be
paradise.
with me, and they're
And
making it like
here
it's
they
not today. It's
say,
not today. Don't get your hopes up.
so here
Don't
they
get
say,
too excited.
Jesus say, truly I tell you today, you'll be with me in paradise after 1914. I'll be in heaven. I'll set up my kingdom on earth. The JWs will be preaching, and then the end will come. You will be with me in their paradise. But I'm telling you that today, it's coming in the future. That's how JW.org has to do that. They changed the comma and then they print a book on it. And they went to the Gerber Bible to get this. The Gerber Bible. Greber Bible. Greber Bible. You know who that is? Greber? Okay,
Geneva?
we'll look at it. Right?
It's not the Geneva.
No, I'm going to show you. They got this change out of the Greber Bible. Greber Bible.
I've never heard of it.
No, this is. I did a video on this.
I wonder if that's a
the
fan
Bible,
fiction Bible too.
The Bible, did Moses Greber Bible. Greber, is there two E's in that, Greber?
No, Greber. I think it's Hans Greber.
Okay, I'll just go Greber. There. Questions from the readers. So the JWs reference Greber right here. And this is under they got Greber here. Events clarified. The recent a report in the Bible is translated by Johannes Greber says that when Jesus died, the earth quaked and the rocks were shattered, tombs were laid open, and many bodies of those buried were tossed upright. In this posture, they projected from the graves and were seen by many who passed by the place on their way back to the city. Hence, rather than a resurrection, as some Bible translations imply, there appears to have been merely an exposure of the dead to observers, as in Guatemala. So this is the big thing. This is another part of that Greber Bible. All the other Bibles say that the tombs were opened and people actually started walking around. How do you read that? Matthew 27:51-53.
27:51. I'm gonna look that up.
And here's the Watchtower Bible. And look, the curtain of the sanctuary was torn in two from the top to bottom. The earth quakes, the rocks were split, and the tombs were open, and many bodies of the holy ones who had fallen asleep were raised up. And then it has in brackets, and people coming out from among the tombs after being raised up entered into the holy city. And they became visible to many people. But when the army officer and those with him keep watching over Jesus, they grew very much afraid and said, certainly, this was God's son. So now that's Luke or Matthew 27:51. Let's look at it in the JW Bible. Matthew. What did I say that was? Or Luke?
Matthew 27:51.
Okay. Matthew 27:51. And so here it says, and look, the curtain of the sanctuary was torn in two from top to bottom, and the earth quaked. Rocks were split, and tombs were opened, and many bodies of the holy ones who had fallen asleep were raised up. And people coming out from among the tombs after his being raised up entered into the holy city, and they became visible to many people. Sounds the same.
Yeah, sounds physically
Didn't
and
it sound the
spiritually. Yeah.
It sounded the same, didn't it?
Yeah, they sounded similar. Yeah, it sounded exactly the same, actually.
Now, where is this? 43? No, that's different. 53? I lost my place. 53.
It was 51, I think 253.
Yeah, maybe.
This is Luke, though. I got Luke open
Oh,
here.
no, Matthew.
Yeah. Yeah.
Matthew, oops. Matthew 27, right?
Yep. 51 through 53.
Matthew, I got the wrong one. Matthew 27. How come there's not 20 chapter 27, Matthew?
Yes.
No, can't be. There's not. Is there 27 chapters?
Yeah, there's 28.
Okay, I gotta reset this tool. I've got too far into it, I find. Should probably close some tabs. Okay, Matthew 27 and 53.
Can you go over there for me, bud?
Is that your little guy?
Yeah, that's my son. His birthday's coming up on the 17th.
Oh,
Wednesday.
congratulations.
Thank you.
See, I can't get this tool to go down. I'm screwed up here.
That's weird.
Hey? Yeah, it does this. I find it does it sometimes.
We got a Mandela effect. Did chapter 27 disappear?
I'm going to put in, I'm better to put in, okay, what are we talking about? I'll put in Matthew.
Matthew 27, 51.
Let's see if it pulls it up.
I should pull it up.
Now it's doing nothing. Didn't like that. Matthew. Did I spell Matthew right?
2 T's. I can't see it well from this end.
No, it just wants to open a topic. Okay, let's plug in a topic. Matthew, what did it say there, Matthew?
Open tombs. Tombs were
Yeah.
opened.
Yeah.
There it is. Okay, so I'll pull the full chapter in 27. We'll read that.
Yeah, I think it was 51 to 53.
The crucifixion, the death of Jesus. Okay. So now from the 6th hour, there was darkness all over the land until the 9th hour. I'm reading right here on verse 45. Just kind of what happened. And
that's when my God,
my God, why have you forsaken me? Yeah. Behold, the curtain of the temple was torn in two. The earth shook. The rocks were split. The tombs opened. Many bodies of saints who had fallen asleep were raised. And coming out of the tombs after his resurrection, they went into the holy city and appeared to many. That's not in the JW Bible this year. They went out into the holy city.
All right, they redact a lot. Let me pull up. I'll pull up the look at it from here.
And when the centurion and those who were with him keeping watch over Jesus saw the earthquake and they were filled with awe and said, "This has to be Jesus or Yeshua." If you guys want us to use that. Isn't
I
Yeshua
like.
just another name?
I think that's more his original name in Aramaic.
Yeah.
I like it. It's a beautiful name.
Yeshua. Yeah, that's good. So here the tombs were open. Now let's go back to JW.org. And they say, and the tombs were open. Many bodies of the holy ones were raised up, and the people coming out from among the tombs, being raised up, entered the holy city. They became visible. You see, it's just showing that the graves were brought up from the earthquake, and the people were visible. That's what this shows. And that's the
Okay.
Greber Bible they got this out of, where the other Bibles say the tombs were open, many bodies of the saints who had fallen asleep were raised. It's like there was a resurrection.
Yeah, they don't
And
want you studying.
in verse 53, it says, and coming out of the tombs after his resurrection, this is the last part, they went into the holy city and appeared to many. Like, it's like people were raised from their tombs and walked into the city. So JW.org didn't like that. So they changed the comma in Luke 23 and 43 to make it later. You know, it wasn't an instant like where Jesus went and set that kingdom up. You see, if he died at the moment of his death, and even though he was on earth, like, these are gods we're dealing with. People forget that. These are gods in a spiritual realm. So even though he died, it doesn't mean the kingdom wasn't set up. Even though he was still appearing on earth for 40 days, it doesn't mean the kingdom. He paid the price for the kingdom, right? It's done. So there's no reason why that guy, that evildoer, couldn't be resurrected. Maybe the paradise, the kingdom, is not of this earth. That's the way I read it all. Anyways. And I just read that. So now I want to go back to the Watchtower. And they said they got this from the Greber Bible, right? Now we're going to go back and show you some other stuff that they say. So this, in 1975, questions from the readers came up. Where is this? 1975. Greber. I'm going to put Greber and occult. Occult. It's just grabbing onto occult. Maybe they pulled this out. Greber. Wine research has, okay, here it is, 1983. So this was a way back in 1975 when they made all this stuff up. And that's when they wrote their new Green Bible. If any of you guys online have the Green Bible, that was made by
just
Franz.
after their last failed prophecy.
Yeah. So who's the good Franz? Who's the bad Franz? Raymond Franz and Fred Franz. Fred Franz is the, I think Raymond was the nephew. Yeah. Fred was in the governing body. Yeah. Fred was responsible for writing the Green Bible and using the Greber Bible. So Fred Franz dies, Nor dies, 1983. When I came in, people were looking at this Greber thing, and here's what they said, questions from the readers. This is very interesting, everyone. This is JW.org themselves. Why in recent years has the Watchtower not made use of the translation of the former Catholic priest Johannes Greber? This translation was used occasionally in support of rendering of Matthew 27 and John 1 and 1. See, they're the ones that said John 1 and 1, where they made Jesus a god. They took away his power. Greber did that. That's all Greber. And they used that. And as given in the New World Translation, other authoritative Bible versions, they say, but I don't see where their references are. They don't have references. But as indicated in the foreword to the 1980 edition of the New Testament, Johannes Greber, this translation relied on God's spirit world to clarify for him how he should translate difficult passages. It is stated that his wife, look at this, a medium of God's spirit world, she was into occult, was often instrumental in conveying the correct answers from God's messengers to Pastor Greber. It's right in the Watchtower. They admit it. So then they go on to say the Watchtower has deemed it important to make use of the demonized translation, the occult translation, that's my words,
You
but
worded
to
it
make
correct.
use of the Greber translation that has such a close rapport with Spiritism. They're showing everyone that they have made their Bible from this Spiritism Bible.
They kind of claim
So
to be. I mean, if they're the mouthpiece of God, that's pretty much the seat they're putting themselves into.
I know. And then it goes on to say the scholarship that forms the basis for rendering the above cited texts in the New World is sound. So they're saying that the occult is sound because it came from occult. And for this reason does not depend on all of Greber's translation for authority. So here's how they justify it. Nothing is lost. Therefore, by ceasing to use his New Testament. So they picked it apart and just used the pieces that they wanted to fit their narrative. It's right here. Greber. His wife is from the occult. You can do more research on it. I researched it on all over the place, Wikipedia.
And Researcher Rose has a good
Researcher Rose has researched this. So that green Bible, and therefore all the other Bibles, have spawned off of this Greber Bible, and they've changed how the evildoer being read. They changed the comma. They changed the John 1 and 1 where Jesus is a God. They took away his power. But if you think of all of this stuff, think of it. What does Satan want? Satan knows the scriptures. In fact, Satan used the scriptures to tempt Jesus. He says, it is written. Why don't you do this? Throw yourself off a cliff. Or it is written. Make yourself some bread. I don't know, all the tests. Remember that? Satan knows what's written. He knows what's written. And so here we have Greber, who his wife is a medium. Johannes Greber is a Catholic pastor. Built his own Bible back in the we were looking this up, but they were into occult. Occult was very fashionable in the 1800s. Russell was into it. A lot of these religious leaders were into occult magic and stuff like that. But Greber, Johannes Greber, they admit it. I don't, this is such easy stuff to use, like for me as an apostate. It's right out of their mouths. They're admitting that they're using a Bible from the occult. Basically.
What the devil wants. The devil wants you to put another man between you and God before anything. He don't want you going to the source because God will answer.
Do you know what else the Watchtower admits? And I don't know why people are still in there. I'm going to show you. Where is it? Right here.
And also, the governing body is neither inspired nor infallible. And so it can err in doctrinal matters or in organizational direction.
Case closed. They admit it. Like they're telling everyone that they don't.
It's almost like it's your fault for believing us, not our fault. If you believe our silly rules, that's your problem.
Yeah.
But if you break our silly rules, say goodbye to your family.
Exactly.
It's twisted and demonic.
Big time. Big time. So this is just some of the research I've done that's led me to where I'm at right now. That I don't trust the New World Translation at all. It's from occult. And they admit it.
It's entertainment purposes at this point. I keep it for that only, just to see what did they say with this verse.
I'll tell you what, we have a lot to go on. Like on these apostate channels, they give us lots of information. Like we hardly have to work for it. So anyways,
the internet's a blessing.
Yeah, it is. I think we're going to end the show. I don't know. We've been on for almost 2 hours. Anybody else want to come on? Look at everyone loves you. Alora Mermaid says exactly, David.
I love you guys too.
Right, David. You see? See, it's good. Now, it has to be at the mouth of 2 witnesses to establish a fact.
That was 2.
There's 2 of us here. So we're in agreement, right?
Yep.
Okay. Well, thanks everyone for being on with us tonight. Thanks, David. It's been a
Thank you.
pleasure having you. And here's what we're going to do for everyone. There's my little hand clap. And then what should we do? Give you guys some kind of an outro, eh? I have a whole bunch of stuff here, but it just keeps getting bigger in my list. Let me see. What do you like? What do you want to see for outro? Bible stories? You ever look at the Bible stories books that they have? David?
With,
We used to teach that
with-
Bible stories book that JW Org has.
Oh yeah, I threw it away. There's pictures in
Yeah.
there. Gave me bad anxiety.
Crazy.
Like my mind
But-
is still scarred from there's sorcery and there's that art. I don't care what anybody
Oh,
says.
big time. Okay, well, here's what I'm here. I'm not going to play that. I'm going to give you guys this. We're going to find some purpose. Here's what it is. Thanks again, everyone, and keep living your life with love. If you do that, everything seems to work out. You notice that, David? Everything works
yeah.
out. It does. We'll see you in the next video, folks. Bye for now.
It's time for us to go. We entered the farmer's market one last time to say our goodbyes. Nina wished us much confidence in our new journey ahead as we disappeared through the mist, but this time to a new land. To be continued in Book 3, Finding Purpose.